Forgetting names is a common cognitive experience that often has less to do with poor memory and more to do with how the brain prioritizes and processes information. From a psychological perspective, names are considered arbitrary labels rather than meaningful data, which makes them inherently harder to retain. Unlike visual details or emotionally significant facts, names usually lack strong associations, making them more vulnerable to being forgotten. One of the primary reasons people forget names is shallow encoding. When meeting someone new, attention is often divided between multiple stimuli: appearance, environment, conversation, and social impressions. As a result, the brain may not fully register the person's name at the moment it is introduced. Without proper encoding, the information never effectively enters long-term memory, making recall difficult later. Another contributing factor is the lack of emotional connection. The brain is wired to prioritize information that carries emotional weight or personal relevance. If the interaction is brief or lacks significance, the name is less likely to be stored deeply. In contrast, names associated with strong emotions or repeated interactions are much easier to remember. Cognitive overload also plays a significant role. In social settings where multiple introductions occur, such as meetings, events, or gatherings, the brain receives more information than it can efficiently process. This overload leads to interference, where new names compete with each other, resulting in confusion or forgetting. Psychologists also highlight the concept of the tip of the tongue phenomenon, where a person feels certain they know a name but cannot retrieve it at the moment. This reflects a temporary retrieval failure rather than a complete loss of memory. The information exists in the brain, but is not easily accessible due to weak neural connections or insufficient cues. Personality traits can influence this tendency as well. Individuals who are more introverted or socially anxious may focus inward during interactions, reducing their attention to external details like names. Similarly, highly analytical thinkers may prioritize ideas and conversations over personal identifiers, making them more prone to forgetting names. Importantly, forgetting names is not necessarily a sign of poor intelligence or declining memory. Instead, it reflects how the brain optimizes efficiency by filtering out information it deems less critical. Names, being abstract and often context-independent, fall into this category. To improve name recall, psychologists recommend techniques such as repetition, association, and visualization. Repeating a name during conversation, linking it to a mental image, or connecting it with a known reference can significantly strengthen memory and coding. These strategies transform a simple label into meaningful information, making it easier for the brain to store